This podcast is part of the OIW Podcasting Network.
Hey guys, welcome back to Guilmy Talks. How's everybody doing again? It's me, Justin, aka Guilmy, and I just want to say thanks for tuning in today. It's another great episode with Elian Habernero. I think I got the name right finally. It was one of those names. If you guys tuned in before, I have trouble with names. I'm terrible at it, but I think I got it. I got it right this time. And I just want to say thank you very much for coming on the show. We had a blast. It was great talking. And to be honest, we didn't really talk much about wrestling. We talked about life, about the quarantine going on, about kids, about being parents. And we had a lot of fun. And I'm definitely going to be getting this guy back on the show again because, you know what? It was fun just talking to him. He's a great guy. He is an Ontario Indy wrestler who's been wrestling for 365 Pro for years, previously known as PWA, and it was just great talking to him. He's also a member of the OIW Podcast Network. I've been really wanting to get him on the show for a while. And our schedules just have not really lined up. But I finally got him on, and it was an absolute pleasure to talk to him for a little bit. Remember to check out his YouTube show because it's a great show, and it's a fantastic show. I love watching it. Hopefully you guys do too. And I just want to say couple things real quick. Go check out batsinthebelfreeart.com. She has her own website as well as the Instagram page right now. She's currently doing commission work, so if you want anything super special, go check her stuff out right now. Please go check out Doing Fine Kitchens if you are in London, Ontario. Buddy of mine's the chef there, and he is an absolutely phenomenal cook. Go check out his food, and it is amazing. He was actually in the London Free Press, had an article on him this week, so that was very, very cool. And if you need any graphic design work done, go check out Solid Designs on Instagram. He does amazing work, very detailed, very, very cool stuff. And if you want something a little bit different, go check out Solid Designs. And I just want to say, having Elian on the show was absolutely fantastic. Had a blast talking to him, and eventually I'll get him back on. But here's the show, guys. Hope you will enjoy it as much as I did re-recording it. Talk to you at the end. Good morning, good evening, good night. How is everybody doing out there on this lovely quarantine day? Because I got a feeling this is not going to end for a little while. But so it's another quarantine day, so why not put on a fantastic episode of Guilmy Talks? And it's a fantastic episode because I have one of my favorite online guys that I love to follow. He makes me laugh all the time. It's Elian Habernero. How's it going, buddy?
Cuba, it's me, Elian Habernero. It's going great, man. I'm really happy that we finally connected, and we've been trying to do this for a while, and I'm happy to be on the show, and I'm a fan of the show, and I think this is going to go great.
Oh, yeah, because we were originally supposed to do this in February or March, but the world kind of changed a little bit since then.
We were all right in our zone then, when we were starting the podcast network, and everybody was collaborating and everything, and then everything kind of just took a U-turn there.
Oh, yeah. And some people have stepped back, some people have changed styles, but we are still the OIW Podcast Network. I am looking to do a kind of a kind of a relaunch in September, because just kind of see where we're at and see what's what, and kind of just relaunch it from there. Because the crazy thing, we have 500 followers on our page that just wants to know about Ontario indie wrestling podcasts and YouTube shows and content creators, and that still blows my little mind every single time.
I know, and this is without even shows going on. Imagine like when the podcasts have more content to talk about and guests who can talk about recent matches or upcoming matches. It's really going to be something special, I think.
Oh yeah, I just launched it at the best time.
Well, that's good though. It's like kind of like you're just building your numbers up and getting people on board, and then we can launch it when. Well, I mean, it's already launched, but then it can really start to take off when.
Because I'm currently reworking the website and the Instagram page, and right now we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're doing good on those, and just don't really want to rush it just yet. But
no, I hear you.
But
and I find like not as some of the regular, like, because a lot of wrestlers have, or even just managers or refs, they have like their personal accounts, and then they have like under their character names accounts, and I find a lot of those people are not very active right now. But when things pick up again, then we're gonna see a lot more people come out of the woodworks there.
Oh yeah, because I've had some absolutely amazing guests lined up that we rescheduled, because I don't want to have a guest on and have them be like, "Yep, I've been at home training, just waiting. So what's new? Training, waiting. Okay."
Yeah, I hear you. And like on my show, I have guests, but I have them in. I film it, so I have them come over. So I haven't been able to do that. So.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, it's gonna be much better soon.
I miss wrestling shows. I truly do. I miss my friends. I miss the people. I miss the yelling horrible things at complete strangers or friends. I love yelling at wrestlers when they're in the ring. I'm very much boo the bad guy, cheer the good guy when I go see matches, because that's
the whole experience.
Yeah.
And same for me as a wrestler myself. I don't think I could get the same adrenaline without the fans. Like, that's the whole point of it. Like, at the movie theaters, you can't go. You're not supposed to yell at the bad villain in the movie. But wrestling, it's like encouraged.
What is your personal opinion on like WWE and AEW doing shows without crowds? Perfect example. Last night I saw Warhorse on AEW.
I heard about that. Yeah.
If he would have had that entrance with a full crowd there, instead of like a couple dozen people ringside, he got like wrestling staff and wrestlers out of their chairs cheering and headbanging. Now imagine if he was in front of 10,000 people. How crazy that would have been.
Oh, I feel so bad for all those guys. Like anybody, like especially in AEW, that's made their debut. Like Matt Hardy came, and so many of them came, and they had to do without a crowd. Like even just the weekly challengers that Cody's had. And, some of those guys would have got such great reactions, and it's really not fair. I honestly wish they would have waited, like for some of those guys, like just to see the crowd. Like, some of those guys, Brian Cage and Taz and Vicky Guerrero, and all those people.
Because imagine Brian Cage coming out in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's the whole reason you do it, is for that rush.
And speaking of wrestling, what was the first spark that actually got you more involved?
That got me like to be a fan of wrestling, or to become one?
A little bit of both. What was the spark that kind of? Because I'm assuming I find people become fans of wrestling about 5 or 6 or around there.
Yeah,
they really.
I was around 4 or 5. Yeah. We only got I lived in Campbell River, British Columbia as a kid, but I didn't live in the town, so we didn't get cable. So I only got like I'll say 2.5 channels, because one only worked some of the time, and we didn't get like Saturday night's main event or any of that stuff. But then one day I discovered we got one of these, like, WWF Wrestling Challenge shows. It was, like, one of those shows where they would just have a bunch of, like, kind of, like, mid-card talent matches, and then at the end they would show, like, something from, like, Saturday night's main event, one of their big segments. And I got hooked on Jake the Snake was my first favorite when I started going to the video stores, I would start renting the tapes.
Oh yeah, because that's what we did at that time. We went out, we rented the tapes, we watched it wherever you could. It wasn't you traded the tapes with friends and just trying to find wrestling wherever you could. Or
yeah, and it was back then too, like when I would talk about it at school, it wasn't that popular. I don't know why, because it was in like the Hulk Hogan era, and it was really popular mainstream. But like, I don't know, it was kind of frowned upon, so I kept it to myself a lot because I didn't get like a good reaction from people when I was talking about how much I liked it a lot of times. So it wasn't until I got to like high school where there was a lot more kids where I found people with similar interests as me that I could really kind of open up about it more.
oh, and also high school, since we're about the same age now. High school, the Attitude Era was a thing, and it was different than.
I mean, I got back into it even more because, like, for a while there, it wasn't a priority. Like, I was starting to get into females and like more social life and that kind of stuff. So I just it wasn't like at the forefront. But then when Stone Cold and The Rock and all that, then it was like, and then it came popular again. Like people at the school would wear the shirts like NWO and 316. So it was kind of like I jumped back in full speed ahead.
Trying to describe it to the 20-somethings now, what wrestling was like in how big wrestling was in the late 90s. Everybody was watching it at that time. It felt like. Was it all great, amazing things? No, but everybody watched it, and it was fun. Yeah.
Like one of the worst episodes of Raw back then got more views than like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW combined in 1 week now.
Yeah, and as people have said this many times, the fans are there. You just got to get them back.
Yeah, they're still. I know, like, because people know that I'm a wrestler, so I have friends that aren't really into it, but they used to be into it. It's just not for them anymore. They grew out of it, or the product changed and it wasn't to their liking, or different reasons.
I think sometimes the product is a little too complicated now. If that's a way, there's no, in my own opinion, there's no real heels anymore. There's no bad guys who you genuinely despise.
No, like when I was growing up, you'd have the bad guys would be from another country, and you can't really do that now. Like you can't have like the evil Russian or Iraqi guy or whatever. But the wrestling was always the best when they would take whatever was happening in the real world, the social issues, and kind of play them into like into the storylines and whatnot. But now it's so hard with always gonna offend somebody. But I also find it's so complicated, like you said, not just with no heels. It's like I find a lot of the times they cater to the smarter fans, that not the casual fans. Where if they wanted more fans, they would go for the casual fans and like the families and the ones that don't know as much about it and still want to like believe it might be real and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, because I consider myself I'm if you want to say smart fan or Mark or whatever the term is now, I'm probably that guy because
you're very knowledgeable and probably passionate about it, so you want to learn as much as you can about it, right?
Yeah. But I will never be the guy to take away from my biggest pet peeve about any wrestling show is when somebody tries to steal the show, shall we say, a fan that basically screams for 3 hours, trying to get everyone's attention on them, and I'm just like, just always makes me shake my head. Like I'm like, I've come to see this. I'm not here to see you.
Yeah, exactly. They want to be the star. It's like, well, if you want to be the star, go through it the way like me and several others did, and go through the proper channels and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, it's probably for some of them, I try and look at it through their eyes. Maybe that's the only time where anybody ever pays any attention to them. So they get a little bit of it and they want more. But I agree with you as far as I don't like when it takes away from the show or from the other crowd members. It should be equal, in my opinion.
And I go to, let's see, I don't go to 365 as much as I want to, because whenever they're running shows, I tend to be working. So, it just always worked out. And Guelph is my hometown. My parents still live there, so I can easily have a couch to crash on after or something like that. I watch a lot online, and I just haven't been able to make it out there for a show for years.
One, you got a big family and you got a job to take care of, and there's so many shows. So like, you're gonna get your pick somewhere. Like I did a segment on my old YouTube show where I did one day on each promotion in Ontario, and there was like 37 promotions, and that was three years ago.
Oh yeah, like I am like Smash comes to London whenever they do. I try to be there, support wrestling in the city, wherever what's the other one called? Rock Solid. Whenever they come to the area, I try seeing them. When what is it? London's a tricky market for people, I find. They don't.
They were huge back in the day. I've been helping some of my friends. They'd give me like their old VHS tapes of them wrestling, like Reggie Marley and Scott Chase and some of these guys, and they had some old like HWF shows in London back in the day, and they had like Iron Sheik on there and Jake the Snake and Bushwhackers, and it was a major hotbed back in the day. Didn't they even get like WWE or WCW house shows at one time? I think back.
Oh yeah, we did. We had SmackDown, we had a Raw, and just lately it just hasn't been. The only wrestling company that really has been coming to London on the regular for the past few years is Smash. And when they do, those fans are rabid, and they are absolutely crazy at London Music Hall. There's normally, I'd say, 300 people, anywhere between 250 to 400 people there. And that place is just jumping every single time.
Oh yeah, I've heard from some of my peers that have worked on some of those shows, and they love wrestling for that crowd in that venue there.
Because it is a great wrestling venue. It really, really is. Even I'm not comparing myself to anyone. Putting on one charity show, that crowd in London was amazing. Like,
oh, you did that charity show for that young gentleman there?
Yeah, Ethan's fight.
Oh, I didn't know that was you that did it, or maybe I did, and I just...
It was, no, it was me and Tom, who did,
Oh, that's right, because Tom reached out to me about possibly being on it, but he did at some point reach out to me, because me and Tom have gotten along really well since we've known each other.
Yeah, Tom's kind of my, unofficial co-host on this show. We do kind of an indie wrap-up about once a month. And
I want to listen to the WCW one you guys put out yesterday or the day before. Or,
yeah.
I don't know when this is going to drop, but the most recent one you guys put out.
Yeah, the WCW one was a fun show. And
I can imagine.
The messages I have got were awesome. Just people just quoting us on the show. I'm like, just the stupid things we were saying about like the Yeti and RoboCop and bringing all the fun WCW craziness back.
Like those people putting out those Mongo videos recently and just poking fun at all the old stuff. But like I even listened to the 83 Weeks podcast with Bischoff because I like how he breaks down the business of every side of everything that people might not know. So I don't know if I personally like the guy because I've never met him, but I find it to be an interesting listen and it gives you details that you may not have known about. But
and
I didn't even get into WCW till like '95 because, like I said, it wasn't on any of my TVs. But then once Hogan got signed, they started adding the VHS tapes to the video stores.
Yep.
So we started getting them, and then I found a friend in high school that had satellite, so I could go to his house and we could switch back and forth from Raw and Nitro and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I really enjoyed it, especially when the cruiserweights came. Like, Rey Mysterio changed my life at that point, because I was really skinny, and I wasn't like an intimidating figure. I wasn't someone that was strong or tough. So when I saw him, it was like, oh, maybe I could do this.
Yeah.
You know.
And speaking of that, when did you start? When and where did you start training?
Well, after I graduated in 2000 from Campbell River, BC, and I was 18 years old. So then I started looking online for wrestling schools, and I settled on a place in Cambridge, Ontario, which was called the Hart Brothers School, which wasn't what I thought it was. It wasn't the Dungeon. It wasn't the Hart Brothers in Calgary. But the other ones I was looking into were in the States, and, you know, I wouldn't be able to get a green card to work. And then this one also, they had dormitories you could live in. So, and the guy was a really good salesman, so he told me everything I wanted to hear. So about a month after graduating, I had some money saved up from a high school job, and then I flew out to Cambridge, Ontario, and started training there.
Wow. I've heard people quote about the Hart Brothers School in Cambridge before.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of funny stories there.
Oh yeah, and I've only taken one bump in my entire life, and the funny story is I went to training for one day, took one bump, knocked myself out, and my friend drove me home after that.
Oh jeez, yeah, because a lot of people don't realize.
Oh,
It's like a trampoline or something, or
I had no idea.
If you don't know how to protect yourself, you just take a bump and you don't do it the proper way. It's gonna rock you.
Oh yeah, I didn't tuck the chin or anything. I did a total flat, and my head just got rocked on the mat. And yeah, that was it for my wrestling training, and didn't step into a ring until I was doing shots in a death proof ring many years later. Was not wrestling, making sure I would just do it taking shots. But
oh, that's good, man. I didn't know you were in death proof. I never Chad used to invite me to a bunch of them, but at first they used to always be Sunday nights.
Yep.
And I'm a single parent, so it was like a school night for me. Like, and I didn't have babysitters, and I didn't drive either. And people may or may not know this, but I always bring my son with me to the shows, and it was at a bar, so I couldn't bring him. So I had to turn him down a couple times there.
Oh yeah. And also, I'm just going to state this as a fact. I never was a part of a show. I was just a guy I was invited in the ring to do shots. That's it.
Oh, at the beginning where he
would do his thing. Yep.
He'd do like his death proof toast and all that kind of stuff.
That's
neat, though. Oh, that's something.
Oh yeah, it is. And I got to bring my father in one day to do shots in a death proof or the death proof ring. So that was fun, bringing a 60-year-old man to a death proof fight club show.
Yeah, it was a good concept to make the crowd feel like even more that they were a part of the family or the show or whatever.
Yeah, and he's working on the no ring north stuff right now, which hopefully that works out for him. But
yeah, because he had one planned. I know right before the whole situation happened, and that he had to cancel it.
Yep, I had tickets. Yep, because he was doing one in London, one in Kitchener, and one in another city that's escaping my mind right now.
I only knew about the one because I remember seeing promos from like CC Moss and Clay Wilson talking about it, and maybe Tyler Arrow, and
oh yeah,
maybe it was all three. I don't know, but I just remember that it was like being heavily promoted.
Oh yeah, and then the world kind of shut down, so it'll be back.
Yeah, it's hard not to get depressed, man. I really just try and keep myself busy and keep other things to keep my creativity going, because when you sit there and think about it, then it's hard not to get down.
Oh yeah, like today is my first day. I have a few hours to myself in months because my lovely wife took the kids to the beach all day, and so I was able to get a couple episodes recorded and just enjoying my lovely hobby.
Like, too, the kids,
oh yeah. Sorry, man.
kind of took it for granted, but now, like, kids don't understand it like we do. And, like, now they're probably like, wow, the beach. Like, maybe it's a bit more special to them than it would have been before.
Oh, yeah, because we had to actually cancel the last trip because there was a storm, and they were so down. It was like, oh, we can't go. Well, it is a lightning storm, and I'm not that terrible of a parent to let you go to a beach in a lightning storm. But but they kind of understand. How old's your kid, if you don't mind me asking?
He's 12, and his birthday was in April, so we had to cancel all the birthday stuff. So
oh,
that
yeah.
was really disappointing. But
actually,
he's a positive kid. He tried to make the...
Just like my son's birthday, he actually turned 12 too in May, and he that kind of sucked. I put out on my social medias, and I got a bunch of videos and messages from people from all over the place, because you do a podcast, people tend to listen to it, and your Facebook friends go up, and this and that, and got a couple cool little videos for him from people who've never done the show. We just wanted to make my little guy's day a little bit brighter.
That just warms my heart, that kind of stuff. Like, some of the positive stuff. I've seen a couple other young wrestling fans that had birthdays that people were sending in videos for too, and I love the positive stuff. I love when people come together that, to me it's like it's all part of one big Ontario wrestling community, and even if you're part of a different promotion or you're friends with someone that doesn't like this person, so, like, you're supposed to not like them too because this person doesn't like them. But, like, I love the positive stuff when people just come together for the good of a child or a good cause or whatever. This is the number of promotions that helped me out with Ethan's fight. 7. There you go, yeah.
7 different promotions actually reached out and helped and offered, and just where I didn't even ask. The only person I asked, they said no. Not going.
How ironic is that?
Yep, not going to say the name or give him any airplay here, but 7 different promotions reached out and gave donations or this or that, or recommended talent for the show or this or that, because I had nothing to do with the booking of it. I just did all the legwork, raising funds, and the stuff that I know.
Something, it may have been a while ago, but didn't you post something about he's had a lot of good progression, like he's doing well with the battles that he's in?
Yeah, he actually he got the all clear.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was. I didn't want to say because I wasn't 100%
No.
sure.
He got I forget the medical term, but no sign of anything. And the 3 dots, the 3 shadows on the spine that they thought could still be cancer, was diagnosed as scar tissue, which is better. It might cause something in life, might not. They have no idea right now, but he's cancer free.
Oh man.
And
that's the kind of stuff you want to hear, especially nowadays when, like, a lot of people are down and out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love the good stuff. I'm all
yeah.
for that.
That's what I'm actually looking forward to with doing this show, this medium, and just putting some fun stuff out so people can just forget about their troubles for a little bit. Because, yeah, I went to a doctor's office the other day for the first time in months. That was terrifying, like, just downright scary now, just because I
wouldn't want to do that. I don't envy you at all.
Oh yeah, no, and all I needed was a doctor's note for work, right? There was nobody there, just the receptionist, and they told me, okay, come back exactly at this time, and I'm like, okay. Talked to the doctor, got a note. I was in and out in 20 minutes all together. I didn't even see a single person there.
That's different. There's going to be a lot of things that are not going to, like, I hear the words like new normal getting thrown around and that kind of stuff. There's going to be, this whole time we're living in is going to be, we're going to look back on it for hundreds of years because certain things are never going to be the same.
Oh yeah, like I don't see the movie theaters. they have to change.
They just announced they're opening tomorrow, some of the Cineplexes. But it's going to be social distancing and spaced out, and they don't have any new movies to show, so they're just going to show classics for a bit. But some of the Cineplexes, I believe, I just read an article about it. I think there's like 20 of them in Ontario that are allowed to open as of July 31st, Friday.
Because when you went to a packed movie theater, there was, what, 300 people average, I think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, about that much. How many do you think there's going to be now? I'm just, like...
And to me, that was the experience. You know, I like going to the movies when there wasn't as many people there. But then when there's a lot of people there and you're watching a movie and everybody reacts to something that's happening, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I'm a horror movie guy. I love scary movies. I love seeing them in the theater, because half the fun of going out to a movie theater when you're seeing like a Halloween movie is there's always screams when Michael Myers sneaks up behind somebody. For somebody like myself who've seen many horror films, you can kind of guess which. There are the same movie tropes in every single one, and you're going to know, except for the Jason movies. Those freak me right out. But Jason scares me. He's one of the slashers that terrifies me.
Oh yeah, my kid's really into horror stuff. Not me as much, but I like to help him with the things he's passionate with, so I'll do it with him. And he really likes like the new It movies.
Oh yeah.
So we went to those at the theater, and look, just like you said, even if I'm not scared, just hearing everybody else react to it is pretty cool. Like, especially when, like you said, a lot of stuff in horror movies nowadays is predictable, but when they get you on one thing, it's like, yes, like you feel that rush, that goosebumps in your heartbeat. It's like, oh, they actually got me. Like,
what was it? A friend of mine, an actor friend, he was in a movie called Secret Santa. He actually did. He was my first guest ever on the podcast, and it was just perfect timing. Hey, I'm launching a podcast. Want to do it? Sure. You got coffee? Yep. Okay, we're good. So pretty much I did that, and we figured out kind of my podcast format that day, and what kind of how to ask questions and how to do this, and then I actually got to see his movie, and it was really good. Like a good, like I'd say late 70s, 80s horror film, where the director actually took the time to make the film more grainy and feel like it was a lost movie almost. From
is
that.
it on like YouTube or Tubi Plus or Netflix or any of that?
Oh
stuff?
Yeah. I think it's on Prime right now, but
Amazon Prime?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I'll tell my son, and if he proves it, then I'll watch it with him.
Oh yeah, it is a 70s, 80s slasher film, and the ending, you're not going to. I don't care how much of a horror film, you're never seeing this ending come out, because I've never seen an ending like it before, and it was great. That's it.
Oh, that's all you can really ask for.
Oh yeah, and you got to give props to former guests.
Yeah, make sure to go back and tell all the people listening, go back and listen to episode 1 where it all began.
Oh yeah, and we actually listened to episode 1 first, and then listened to we discussed the movie, I think 25. He came back and we did it again. We actually watched the film and kind of did a little bit of a watch along and broke down the movie there, which was so much fun. Because he kept bringing things. Okay, in the background, this is what was actually going on. Yeah, that poor girl there, she was freezing. Like
the DVD director's commentary, almost like. Yep,
and I just got to be like my geeky horror movie fan right there. I'm like, this is so cool. Buddy of mine actually did this. Yeah, but.
Oh, it's just like the wrestlers. Like, I'm sure when you talk to Tom, like, you're friends with him, and, like,
he
talks about one of his matches, it just makes you feel like you're more of a part of it. You're in his life, right?
Oh, yeah. And he will, and I got to do my drop kick on this guy, and I got to do this, and I got to do, and just the joy in his face is just always so much fun just to hear him talk about it. And
oh, yeah. Like, even when somebody that I'm friends with in wrestling, because you get a lot of acquaintances in wrestling, like people that you're on good terms with, but you're not really, like really actually hang out with them or anything. But
Yeah.
even if it's just someone that's an acquaintance and then something good happens to them, like they get signed or they have like a really good match, and you feel a little bit of pride for them just because you know them.
Have you ever been truly nervous during a show, or is that always something that happens still?
I'm always really nervous to this day. Since my first match to my last match, I'm even harder on myself than I think anybody else is, and I don't know. I always especially as a kid growing up, like my dad never would praise me. He would always point out what I did wrong. So I was always trying to please him, and I was always striving for perfection. And if I did one thing wrong, him and myself would focus on that thing instead of talking about anything that I did good. So I'm always really nervous and I get anxiety. But then it makes it such a better feeling after when you're done, when it does go well, I think. But yeah, I get really nervous, man. I don't know what to do. I start pacing and.
Well,
I don't know. I think that means you still care and love it though, right?
Oh yeah.
If you just took it for granted, you're just it's just I'm just doing it to get $50 or $100 or whatever, and it's just, I don't know. I think that just means that I care so much that I want it to be so good.
Oh, and it is. I've been researching matches and looking you up, and you're a good wrestler. It's the truth, and just now I feel weird saying that to somebody who's been doing it for as long as you have. It's just you don't see indie guys.
It depends which match you watched, because if you go back 18 years, they might not be as good, or even sometimes the older ones are better than some of the newer ones.
Speaking of that, who are some of your favorite opponents you've had?
Oh man, there's so many, because there's certain people that I've wrestled 5 to 10 times, so I don't want to just say someone that I wrestled once, but some of my favorite matches ever have been against Reggie Marley. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but we had a retirement match, and then we had the final match ever in PWA, and then we also had a match where Hacksaw was my partner. So I'd have to say him or Joey Allen. Me and him always go, sometimes we get carried away where we've had probably 5 or 6 matches, and we always bring the best out of each other, I guess, but also probably do quite a number on each other. And then I've probably wrestled Eddie Osborne 20 times, so I'd have to say those guys.
Oh, and Joey Allen, how is that guy not on every Ontario show? He's so good. I'm surprised he's not on more, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know if he really puts himself out there. For me, I know that I mostly stick to 365 because I don't know if he reaches out and tries to get booked, to be honest. I think that's the way to do it, is you have to put yourself out there and show up at the shows and shake hands and send messages to people, where not everybody, that's not really for them, especially if you're getting work 3 times a month. Some people, that's just enough for them. They're not concerned. But I agree. He's got a lot of talent. He's got the look, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I enjoyed wrestling against him. So I'm surprised he hasn't. But there's about 100 people I could say that about too, right?
Oh yeah.
Even the guy we were talking about before, that got signed to AEW. He should have been signed 10 years ago, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were talking about we were just chatting before I hit the record, guys. There are some wrestlers like Lufisto. Perfect example. She is my dream guest, and I will one day get her on this show. It's just how she has never had a main roster run anywhere, really.
Especially with the women being in the forefront now, because she was a pioneer. She's been doing this back when women, there maybe be one women's match on the card, or
maybe
lots of times that they'd have to wrestle against the male because there was no other women. And yeah, I'm really surprised. But I mean, she's had some success with some of those all-women companies. But yeah, I'm really surprised she never got the Mae Young Classic, or got a shot somewhere.
the Mae Young Classic thing pissed me right off because I'm like, okay, you have this person, but not Lufisto. And I'm not going to say names or anything because everyone on the Mae Young Classic killed themselves, did an amazing job. I loved watching it. Hopefully there's another Evolution pay-per-view down the road. I would love it. I am a huge fan of women's wrestling, but to not have Lufisto on that card was an insult. I personally think. I don't know if it's a politics game or not, but that was crazy.
Yeah, I found even, like, obviously she would be my top pick for, like, Canadian talent, but I felt like there was a lot of Canadian talent that got over. There's been 2 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Canada should have been represented way more. There's so much women, like, well,
Yeah.
there's so much talent, not just women, but there's so much women talent that I felt like there could have been 5 Canadians in it.
Oh, man. And we can just go through the list. Casey Casey Spinelli. There's Caitlin Diamond. There's... help me out here, buddy.
Oh, yeah. There's so many. There's, like, Lexia Nicole, and she gets praise everywhere.
And
there's some out in the Ottawa area. I know Misty Haven. I don't know if she still wrestles that much anymore.
Mm-hmm. And
there's just tons. A lot of the new ones that are coming up, just give them a year or two. But, like, Beautiful Bia, she was really hot there for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. Like, Jody Threat's getting a lot of praise nowadays.
Oh, yeah, because she is awesome. One of my favorite intergender matches I've ever seen was on Josh Alexander versus Jody Threat. I can't remember if it was No Limits or Death Proof, but I know that match was absolutely amazing. Where that match turned a buddy of mine onto women's wrestling because
she wrestles that. I mean, I'm not saying there's a women's style, but she definitely kind of fits right in with the men. She wrestles kind of that. I'm not saying there's a man or female style, but you could just see her as equal, more like where some people think that the women have a different style, but I've seen a match. There was a match. I was on a show in Guelph actually, and it was Beautiful Bia, Jody Threat, Josh Alexander, and Homicide in the 4-way. That was pretty cool.
Yes, that's the one I tried to make it to. Because that seemed like a fantastic match. Men, women, whoever. It just seemed like a great match to go see.
Yeah, and Homicide, he goes way back, right? So.
Oh yeah, he is one of those
there's
guys.
So many talents. I'm sorry for any of the females that I left off. There's a ton of them, but that's the whole point we were trying to make. There's so many up here that
and there are.
Look at how many in the last couple of years. Look at how many all women shows there's been. But when I started, there was not really enough. Back when I wrestled for PWA back in 2005, they had a couple of all women's tournaments, and they had to bring in a lot of the wrestlers from the States because there wasn't enough here.
Oh yeah. See, and now it's like even and now I'm thinking all these fantastic ladies wrestlers that I forgot, like Sabrina Kyle, Violet Lee, Lacey. Sorry, not Lacey. Yeah, like Crystal Moon from Crossbody, and there are just.
Oh, there's tons, man.
And you can just pick any single promotion, and they all have fantastic women wrestlers now.
And I will say this too, because there was no live events for a while, I was helping out the 365 YouTube, and I was, like I said, some of those people gave me like old tapes, and I have a VHS to DVD converter, so I could do 8mm, and I could burn them to a DVD, stick them in my computer, and just throw them up on the YouTube, right? So just so they had some content to put out. And the women's matches always get way more views than any of the other ones.
Oh yeah, because
hands down, if you put up a full show of 8 matches, the women's match, even if it's not one of the better women's matches, will get more views than the other 7 matches put together.
Oh yeah. Oh, and to correct you on one thing, or just make a statement. Yes, I know who Reggie Marley is.
Yeah. Yeah, he used to be in the Ebony Express back in London. They used to run back then. Did you grow up in London, or you said you grew up in Guelph?
I lived in Guelph until I was 19, and then I moved to London. When I moved to London,
Did you ever go to any of those shows back in the day, though? I think it was HWF. It might have been XWC or something. I don't know. Really.
No, I've never been
a lot of them are
to.
not labeled, and some of the results I would try to find, none of them are really online.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I just. When I moved to London, my wife was going. She was going to university. We were supposed to live in London for 1 year, right? 1 year, and then we're moving back to Guelph. And then we just stayed here. We made a life here. Her family's here. Everyone, and now I don't see myself ever leaving this city. It's home.
I hear that, man. I've been here since 20 years. I never planned on living here forever. I moved to Kitchener now, but Cambridge, Kitchener is kind of...
Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo. I'm going to piss a lot of people off. They're pretty much one city now, guys. And
exactly.
And Guelph's right. Guelph will be connected to Cambridge in about 20 years, the way it's growing.
Yeah, it's all like there's no border. It's all of a sudden, oh wait, we're in Cambridge now.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're in Waterloo, and now we're in Kitchener. Hey, look, we're back in Waterloo now. Do. I may have done that drunk for a few nights, but.
Oh, I hear that.
Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny the way things work out. Once you have a kid, you don't really want to move them around too much. That's the same with me. Like, I always want, like, Canberra River, where I grew up, it's paradise. It's on the ocean. There's mountains. There's tons of lakes and rivers. It's not a lot of population. It really is paradise. It's the rainforest. But, I always thought I would end up back there. But then once you have a kid, you don't want to move him away from his friends, and he gets in a routine, and it's just what's the point, right?
Because you put your family before yourself. Whether it's only the two of you, three of you. I don't know your personal situation right now. You said single father.
It's just me and him.
Yep.
I'm not. I'm currently single for all the female listeners of the show.
And ladies, he's not a bad-looking fellow. He can pull off an orange vest very, very well.
And you would be surprised, but when you put pro wrestler on the dating profiles, it's not really impressive. It doesn't get you very many hits.
Yeah, well, back to wrestling, because this is more... Honestly, I'm loving the way this podcast is going, because we're not really talking about wrestling. We're just talking about life more than anything else.
Sorry, yeah. Can you tell I don't get out much? But
man.
I feel like we're really connecting and really getting to know each other. But I guess it is supposed to be a wrestling one.
And I am saying that you will be back on the show, because I got an entire page of questions about wrestling questions. So you will be back, because this is just fun, man. Just chatting, because me and Mr. Habernero, because I cannot pronounce your first name for the life of me.
Okay. I actually dated a Cuban girl for about 2 years there, and I used to have it spelled wrong, but she translated it that what it meant was, it kind of translated to Elian from the main city. Habernero, everyone knows it as a pepper, but I guess it was it kind of translates to the main hub, or the most populated area, so it kind of translates to Elian from the main city. But what happened was, when I was getting into wrestling in 2000, there was this whole big thing where there was a Cuban kid named Elian Gonzalez that came over from Cuba, and the dad took him to the States, and then they had to send the special forces or the SWAT to come get him, and it was just all over the news. So that's when the Elian name was given to me.
Oh yeah, and I remember that very, very well, because it was a insane story, pretty much. It's
it got a lot of coverage on the media.
Oh yeah, when the media actually covered news.
Yes, don't get me started on that.
Oh, I know, that's a whole other podcast right there. But one thing I do want to do with you, because oh man, we've been talking for an hour now. I just checked the time. Oh man, I can't watch baseball. Played it as a kid. I can't watch it. I don't know why.
Oh jeez. I think I'm just desperate for anything right now.
Oh yeah, anything. I think I'm on my third watch through of Bob's Burgers now.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah. It's, well...
Yeah, I hear ya.
It just, I love that show. Makes me laugh. I know what's going to happen. No surprises. No weird virus talk coming up. And it just, like, that is my, my banana bread right there.
Yeah, your go-to.
Yeah.
I find I'm the same way. I'd rather watch something that I've watched before because I know I'm going to like it than take a chance on something new where I might not like it when it's like, oh, I should have just watched that. I know I would have liked it.
Yeah, it's just like I have so little time. Like one thing right now, I really want to start watching Supernatural because I have friends telling me it's a fantastic show. It's a fantastic show. They're in like
I've heard good things as well.
They're in like season 15. I don't want to start watching a show and then hate it in season 4 and be like, oh god, there's like, because I'm a completist. Like, if I start watching something, I gotta watch it. And
even if it turns into what, you're not a fan of it anymore, but you still gotta.
Oh yeah, just to see what happens. Except for only show I didn't watch all the way through was Breaking Bad because I couldn't get through season 3, and everyone's like, oh, season 4 and 5 are so good. I'm like, so depressing. I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, they put the nail in the coffin for you, I guess, right? Like,
oh yeah, it just was like his girlfriend dies, and then this, and they start fighting, and I'm like, I really don't want to spend hours watching this, where I could be doing anything else. Literally, like I could be doing a podcast, or like the other day, I had a podcast lined up, and we just chatted for an hour. I didn't even hit record, and then it's like, oh crap, yeah, I guess we'll have to reschedule.
Well, at least you're having fun. But like you said, why are you going to watch a show if you're not going to enjoy it? Like, time is precious. You don't have that much time.
Oh.
So you want to make the most of it, obviously.
Oh yeah, just like I would rather play a board game with the kids than watch a TV show I may or may not like, right?
Oh, I hear that. And then we only got one TV in the house, so the kid gets it pretty much until bedtime anyway. I just play with my phone and stuff.
Oh yeah, because you have a phone, and now it's like everybody has a phone. I spend more time on my phone than I do watching TV most days now.
You can watch YouTube and Netflix on your phone if you're that desperate too.
Gonna try wrapping this up now with the Guilmy Talks 10, which is basically just 10 quick questions sent in by my listeners. And it's just like either or questions, like PlayStation or Xbox. Just
we have Xbox in this house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're big Xbox fans.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Xbox One over the PS4 though. I really did.
Well, yeah, my kid got into Xbox 360, so then when it was time to transition over, we just stuck with the Xbox One because we could keep some of our same games. But we don't have anything against PlayStation, but we're just an Xbox the last 5 years.
Oh yeah, and also if you're an Xbox guy, you're an Xbox guy. You don't see many people switching platforms. Where me, at my house, I have four children, so I need multiple TVs. Otherwise, there would be blood. Like, what is it? My son broke out the Nintendo Wii in the basement now, and he's replaying all the Skylander games.
Oh man, we have like 70 Skylander figures. We have like 3 or 4 of the games, and we just got so many of the guys.
Yep, like they broke the box out, and because anyone, like I'm not a gamer, but that game seems really fun to play for kids.
Well, it's interactive. Like you can put the guy on the thing and switch the guy, and I don't know. I just think it was a really cool concept at the time, especially.
And then they did the Lego World, I think, for Xbox, or what is that one? They got me to drop.
Disney Infinity, you mean?
No, they did a Lego one of it. You get these like little things
with that game, Lego World.
Yeah, my kids love that game. That game too, because they can take the characters off, redo this, redo that. Yeah, and
those are the ones. Because then And they make the most money, too, because you don't just buy the game, you go and buy the toys.
I dropped so much money on that game.
Because you have to have the new guy or whatever, the different version of the other guy or whatever.
And it's like, oh, well, hey, look, the Lord of the Ring guys are on sale. We don't want those. We want the ones that are $40 each.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, can't you just play with Gullum? Dad, he attacks people with a fish. That's no fun. I'm like, yes, it is. That would be awesome. So, moral of the story, I bought them both.
Yeah, you gotta keep everybody happy.
Oh, yeah. And I basically hit them with fish in a video game. I don't know. But I'm the guy who collects Transformers, right? So, who knows? All right. Question number 2. Judas Priest or Iron Maiden?
I'm not really that familiar with
Wait. Let me go back. Biggie or Tupac?
Oh, Tupac for sure.
Yeah. Because
I like Iron Maiden though. There's a few songs I like of Iron Maiden. I'm sure there's a bunch of Judas Priest songs I know as well, but I didn't have any of the albums or any of that kind of stuff. But if they're on the radio, I'm gonna enjoy them.
Oh yeah. Salty or sweet?
Oh man, I'm definitely a salty guy. I don't like sweet. I don't do desserts.
Ooh, that is a challenge. When I see you next, I'm going to bring you something, and you're going to enjoy it. Have you ever?
Yeah.
No.
I'll definitely humor you.
Have you ever had salted dark chocolate caramels?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a big chocolate guy. I'm not a big caramel guy. When I was a kid, I would get different things instead of cake because I didn't like cake. So I would get a pizza and put candles in it or whatever.
Okay. It just
yeah, I'll still try it. I'm not gonna throw up or I'm not against it. It's just if I go to the convenience store, I'm gonna buy a bag of chips instead of a chocolate bar.
Oh yeah. Because I love getting salty guys hooked on this because it's bitter, salty, and also sweet. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's some brittle that I like because it's a bit like that, like some peanut brittle and stuff like that.
Okay. Author or editor?
Me? Oh, I'm a big writer.
Oh yeah.
But I also am an editor in my mind. When I read posts online, because words were always my big thing. I was a spelling bee champion in school, and I was always English was my strongest subject. So I go through people's stuff, and I'm like, oh, they should have punctuation here, punctuation there. But I love writing stuff. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I write.
Awesome. Cardio or weightlifting?
Cardio for sure. I hate weightlifting. I'll do it, but I'm more into cardio. I exercise 2 hours a day, but most of it's just walking.
Oh yeah. Vampire or werewolf?
Oh geez, I was always interested in the old vampire stories.
See, where I loved vampires up until Twilight.
Oh yeah, my ex was into that, and I tried to pretend to enjoy it, but I like the old vampire stuff, the old from the 1700s and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, when vampires were bad guys and
yeah,
there's no redeeming qualities unless you're Lestat, but that's okay.
Well, the redeeming qualities to me is how smart they were. Some of those stories back in the day of them, not just the movies or any of the stuff in the entertainment world, but you read some of the books, the ones that are apparently true. I don't know if they're true or not, but just about, I don't know. I just find that stuff fascinating.
Yeah, how they had love how they couldn't fly, but they could jump on the roofs to get away. Now imagine that way back in the 1700s, seeing somebody go on a roof, just in one leap. That would be absolutely insane. Or now you don't. You don't.
Be a good wrestler.
Oh yeah, they're the CrossFit guys and the crazy guys who do all that. I don't even know how to describe it because I can't. But the CrossFit guys, the guys who can easily do the jumps and that kind of stuff.
The parkour and stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Those. Imagine seeing that guy 300 years ago.
Yeah.
They would think he has superpowers and he's crazy.
Yeah, they burn him as a witch or something. Yeah, see, if I was alive back then and I saw it, I probably wouldn't be a fan of it, but nowadays I am.
Oh, yeah. Apples or bananas?
What was the first one, sorry?
Apples.
Apples?
Apples.
Yeah, definitely apples. I'm not a big banana guy.
No.
Well, growing up, we had an orchard and we had apple trees, so I would just come home from school and eat the apples right off the trees.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Hero or villain?
Me, I'm the good guy.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't be a bad guy. I don't have the heart for people calling me names. Like, I'm too emotional to. I tried it once in wrestling too, and I just thought it wasn't for me.
No, because some people are born faces.
Yeah, I think I'm just too I have a hard time taking any kind of criticism.
Yep.
So I think I just have to be the good guy because there's a better chance of getting praised than if you're a bad guy. You're basically asking not to get praised.
Yeah. Hoodie or jacket?
Sorry, say that one again.
Hoodie or jacket?
Oh, a hoodie for sure. Sorry, I was moving around, so my phone was cutting out a bit. But yeah,
Oh,
I'm a
no.
hoodie guy. Like, I wear a hoodie almost every day.
Oh yeah. And last question. This is always my number 10 because it has come up. I've had some fantastic rants about this one. And you being a dad, you probably have a preference with this. Toilet paper, over or under?
I never even knew this was a thing until about a year ago. Honestly, I would just throw it on the damn roll. Like, I didn't even know. And then it kept coming up and kept coming up. And then apparently you're supposed to do it where it looks like the bangs are coming down and not the bangs behind. So I've been doing that now the last couple months, where it's just me and my kid in the house. He doesn't care. But I never even knew that was a thing. But now I do it where it's hanging, like, front facing, I guess you would say.
I love saying this. If you put googly eyes above it, beard's good, mullet bad.
Yeah, it's not a mullet. It's the other one. It's like the bangs coming down the front of it. That's how I do it now, and I never even thought about it. But now, like, it's like a subconscious thing. When I go to put it on, I'm like, oh no, someone's gonna come to my house and they might judge me if I don't have it. Like, I think about it. I'm like, what about all those times people come to my house? Were they judging me by how I did my toilet paper?
You may want to go back into the Guilmy Talks archives. Check out the Tyson Dukes episode. You don't have to listen to the whole thing. Just, I think it's about at 40 minutes in. Just listen to his rant. It's awesome.
Oh, jeez.
No,
I'll definitely try and check it out, man.
Oh yeah, and yeah, just want to say thank you very, very much for coming on the show, man. It was fun.
Yeah. I had a great time too.
Yeah.
I look forward to talking to you more, hopefully.
Oh yeah, and well, I'll be honest, this was nice and smooth and easy, and you will definitely be back on, and maybe next time we actually talk a little wrestling.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but.
Hey, man.
Honestly, no, I don't have, like, a huge fan base. It's not like they're going to be mad that you didn't ask me about this or that. But if they do, then you can say, well, what do you want me to ask them next time? So there you go. If we miss something, well, then we can get it next time.
I certainly will, because sometimes with podcasts, it's just free flow conversation which is just fun.
Yeah, we had a good time, and that's the main thing, and I think because of that, anybody that listens will have a good time, right? Like, they can hear that we're enjoying ourselves.
Oh yeah, because we are getting to know each other a little better without Messenger.
Yeah, true. We've sent quite a few messages, but yeah, it was nice to talk, not in person, but it seemed like in person.
Hey guys, welcome back. Once again, thanks for listening all the way through to listen to me ramble a little bit on the end here. And I'm just letting everybody know who's been requesting what's going on with Tom. This month has been really busy for both of us. Haven't been able to get him back on. But in the next week, we are set to record. So we're going to have the September show going, which is going to be really, really fun. Because talking with Tom is always fun and informative. But I do want to tell you guys one thing, that please go like, rate, subscribe, share, do all that fancy, fun internet stuff, because it does really help out the show. And you know what? It helps out the show. Gets me new listeners, new people checking out Guilmy Talks. Those reviews are actually pretty cool. I love reading them. I'm terrible with responding to them. I apologize because I feel weird. But the comments are always awesome. And for anyone who took the 5 seconds to leave something, thank you very, very much. I from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that. And that's pretty much it. Check out check out everybody on the OIW Podcast Network, because I'm going to be getting a little more active in the next coming weeks, because we're going to have more wrestling shows to talk about, more people to actually have on and talk to, because that's always fun. And I just want to say thanks for listening all the way through. I always appreciate it, guys. And have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.